Alright guys, we're going to talk about the lunar cycle. The lunar cycle is our moon phases. You should have a foldable that somewhat looks like this. It's kind of funky on this app that I'm using, but it looks like that. And let's get going to the lunar cycle. We're going to start on the inside left of your foldable. Again, that's the inside left. Make sure you're listening. And every 29 and a half days or 1 month, the moon will complete its orbit. So, we always have different diagrams just like we did with the season. So here I have the sun on the right, here's the earth. Now this area here on the inside, that's how it looks from space, and these pieces here on the outside, that's how it looks to us here on earth. I don't want you guys to get caught up on drawing this. I want to do this with you. Okay, so we're just looking at our foldable. So basically all you need to know right now is that the lunar cycle takes about 29 and a half days to go from the new moon all the way back counterclockwise to a new moon. My second blank on the inside left is that it takes 3.5 days to change phases. So there are 8 phases and it takes 3.5 days to change between each phase. My next blank is that it takes 7 days to change between major phases. So we want to kind of look at this. The major phases are new moon, first quarter, full moon, and then third quarter. Now let's look at our calendar over here. Here is the new moon where it starts. Well, we know that there are 7 days to go from each day of the week to the next. So let's check our calendar. Here we start off with the new moon. The new moon is in fact the very first phase of the phases of the moon. Then a week later, I have that first quarter moon. Okay, I know it's a first quarter because the light is on the right. That makes it a waxing phase. We'll get into that in a minute. 7 days after that, I have my full moon that is fully illuminated. The lit side is what I can see 100% of. Then a week after that, I have a third quarter moon. And then a week after that, I'm back to no illumination, which is back to that new moon. Now, close your foldable and look at the outside right. On the outside right, you should see the word waxing written vertically down your foldable. Okay? Our illumination is growing and the right side is illuminated or white. So I want you guys to remember this phrase. If you're not looking at the light, you ain't looking at it right. Again, if you're not looking at the light, you ain't looking at it right. Okay? Because illumination tells us what the phase is. So when I look at these 3 pictures here, okay, the right side is what's lit up or illuminated. Right side, right side, right side. I do have some shadow that's on the left, but I don't want you to focus on the shadow. I want you to focus on what's illuminated. Okay, so this is a waxing phase because the light's on the right. This is a waxing phase because the light is on the right. This is a waxing phase because the light is on the right. Now, the outside left. Waning. This is the word that's written vertically down the left-hand side. My illumination is on the left side. The left side is illuminated, or that's what's white. So these are all waning phases. Okay? Waning means shrinking. Waxing means growing. Waning means to shrink. So basically the moon goes from total darkness, it starts waxing or growing, and then it wanes and shrinks back to a new moon. So my little phrase that I like to remember is to wax on, wane off. Now, go back to the inside left of your foldable. You probably have heard of a blue moon before. Well, don't let this picture fool you. What a blue moon actually is 2 full moons in 1 calendar month. So, I told you earlier that the lunar cycle takes about 29.5 days to complete itself. However, you know that sometimes we have 30 or even 31 days in a month. So it is very possible sometimes that we end up with 2 full moons in 1 month. That's why they use the expression once in a blue moon, because this does not happen very often. Alright, don't focus on any drawings. We're not drawing anything, but because we're going to do that together, let's talk about what a solar eclipse is. A solar eclipse happens during the new moon phase. The new moon is when you have the moon in between the sun and the earth in a straight line of 180 degrees. Okay, so we actually had a solar eclipse at the beginning of this 2017-2018 school year. Okay, and we had to have special glasses in order to view it because the light from the sun becomes so blinding that it could actually blind you. And then lastly, we have a lunar eclipse. The lunar eclipse happens during a full moon, and that's also a 180 degree straight line. However, instead of the moon being in between the sun and the earth, it's behind it. Okay? And so lunar eclipses are a little bit more common, but it's when you have the moon in the earth shadow. And ladies and gentlemen, that is our lunar cycle. Be ready to draw some illustrations with me in class. Please don't have drawn anything without me, and I probably told you that before you watched this video.